Hello, how is everyone doing? So, I just wanted to quickly share some thoughts regarding the question of cluster B, the rise of cluster B personality traits in women these days. And the reason why is because I was just watching and am still watching a couple of videos on the topic, so it's on my mind. And not only that, even beyond these couple of videos that I'm currently watching, that I have been currently watching on the topic, because I enjoy relationship dynamic content, and so in such videos, you often see clips of women acting crazy, absolutely insane. And yeah, so I just watched this video by this psychologist. Her channel is called Psychobabble. It was the first time I was watching it, and I saw a clip of her video on the Ask an Older Man podcast channel, and then in the recommended videos on the side of YouTube, I saw the full video. So I just watched the full video now, and I'm starting to watch another video by another man, John Griffin, who's talking about the same thing, the rise of the cluster B. I'm crocheting. The rise of the cluster B personality traits that is being noticed empirically, with your eyes, and that is kind of being pushed swept under the rug by the psychological community and industry. And what I wanted to say, just share my thoughts on the matter. Um, from, I mean, I think for me it's obvious the reason why, and I know for many people it's also obvious the reason why there is this rise of the cluster B personality traits is because of feminism. 100% because of feminism, because of the feminization of society, because of the coddling of women and their reactions, the hyping of women that's highly prevalent. Everyone is a queen. You can do no wrong. You're a pick me, or you're male identified, or you're wrong if you're criticizing a woman. A woman can do whatever she wants. She can choose what she wants. Ultimately, um, feminism, the feminization of society, all it's doing is turning women into children, into highly tantrum oriented children, and this is what's happening. And so there, I think that is the origin. I mean, it's the social, and you could say, what's the word? It's the social and what is the word for non-religious? Secular. Yes, it's the social and secular origin of this attitude. Now, the spiritual origin of this attitude is because it's the devil's plan to destroy, to steal, kill, and destroy. And one of the strategies being employed is the infusion of feminism and all the spirits that are the principalities of this chaos. And you see, like I said, this increase of attitude that's not just mentally driven, but is also spiritually driven. Many of these women, myself included, are and have been demonically influenced, or possessed, one or the other. And yeah, and so I don't think that every single woman who has displayed these behaviors is necessarily uh, diagnosable. That, yeah, I don't think it's necessarily diagnosable. Well, maybe it is. But I guess what I mean more is that a woman who has displayed these behaviors and who does display these behaviors is not incorrigible if she is willing to learn some emotional regulation, because that's what I did. And I look back more and more on the phase in my life where I was very much guilty of that attitude, and that was in my early 20s. I was in my early 20s when I was living without my parents, and I didn't have any older people around me or people who were more mature than me to channel my, I mean, not for them to channel my emotions, but to scold me, to chastise me, to tell me, okay, this attitude is not good. I was not only by myself, like I said, my parents were living in another country, I was studying in another country, but I'm also an isolationist by nature, so I didn't really talk that much to my parents in the first place. I'm not the type to share, I'm not the type to do that really, so I didn't do that at the time. And I was also feeling very lonely, not just alone beyond, because I'm, like I said, I'm an isolationist. I like being alone, but I was feeling lonely, which is not the same as being alone. And I just saw my behavior spiral, and during that time I was anorexic, and I got myself out of it as well. I put myself into it, I got myself out of it. uh Thank God. I was highly, so this is a mix of I'm gonna mix in some spiritual stuff like I did before. I was highly feminist ideologically without considering myself a feminist. I even consciously said that I don't call myself a feminist, but there are many aspects of feminism, not all, but there were aspects of feminism that I was very much in agreement with. I believed in sexual freedom. I believed in events like the slut walk. I thought these things were like, it's about female empowerment and liberation. And like, I believed these things. I was highly into the new age and opening so many demonic doors in my life. I just look back on the things that I would do and I'm just thinking like, what the fudge? Like, what? Who even were you? Because I don't at all. I'm not like that at all whatsoever anymore. And I don't feel a single pull to think the way that I did. Honestly, the way I feel now, it's like I never went through what I went through. But anyway, like I said, I could feel myself going off the rails. And not only that, but I was also studying drama, studying acting, and studying acting, discovering my skill as an actress, opening myself up, which is what you need to do to be able to perform well, to perform at your highest. You really need to let go of all restraints in order to be the character. And I started to really feel the power that I have as a person, the power of my presence, the power of my aura. And so that also didn't help, that there wasn't enough regulation of the ego as well. Once you discover that you can, all of these things put together created in me a monster, a psychological, emotionally dysregulated monster. And I honestly, and there are other things that I got into that I don't want to speak about in this video because I am extremely ashamed of it. And I ask God for forgiveness every single time I think about it. Um, yeah, there's just so many, there's such wickedness that exists with this, without, with it. I'm sorry. There's such wickedness that exists with this ideology. The sexual freedom, sexual deviance, because honestly those are hand in hand. That I'm a queen attitude, the whatever you feel, just express it. Such wickedness that exists in it. And I think that if I hadn't returned to my home country when I did, I would not be living the life that I'm living now. I would not have become the stable person, emotionally regulated person that I have become now. I I can't even imagine. I can honestly imagine. I could have become a criminal. I believe that there's a potential that I could have, and not just a high potential, that I could have become a criminal, and that just my life would have been wicked and sad. Just the worst thing that a parent would want for their child, especially when a parent hasn't raised you in any kind of circumstance that would lead to you acting like this. And this is a part of what I want to speak about. Because in the video that I was watching of the woman from Psychobabble, she was speaking about the borderline personality diagnosis that the people who are in charge of giving the names and everything, the DSM-5, I believe, or whatever, they want to change the name of borderline personality to complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And well, either way, she was speaking about the fact that, yeah, they're trying to conflate the two because it's offensive towards women, and it creates judgment towards women. But what it also does is it removes the accountability that women need to have, because it's not a trauma disorder. Borderline personality disorder is not a trauma disorder, it's a behavioral disorder. So it's something that you, I mean, okay, I'm sure you can say that a trauma disorder can be regulated as well, but a borderline personality disorder is more a result of what you do, of the patterns of behavior and thinking that you have. And one of the things about borderline personality disorder is the perception of abuse, that being a part of the archetype or the traits of borderline personality. There's a common theme of not just abuse, but perceived abuse, because the emotional needs of someone with borderline personality are higher, because they have an imbalance. They already have a maladaptive way of receiving or of interpreting the world. So naturally, they're needier. Someone with a borderline personality is needier, and that's why in a family you can have the one child who needs this more than the other, who's more needy than the other. And I can recognize that. I don't know that if I have borderline personality or not. I've never been diagnosed, but I can identify with those aspects, and I can recognize that the things that are often at the root cause of this cluster B behavior, this emotional dysregulation and perceived abuse or neglect. I've felt those things, and I really felt those things for a long time consciously. And it was only, like I said, when I returned to my home country that I started to break out of that. That I started to recognize, yeah, that I started to recognize my own perception of things. That I started to recognize that it's not because you feel something that you need to express it like this. It's not because you can express it this much, this big, with this much intensity and power and everything that you should. It's not because you've taken something this way that was someone's intention. Just all these things. I started really understanding my responsibility in my own responses to things. And I when I returned to my home country, I had just turned 25. So I had just turned 25. So it was from the year 20, it was in 2021, because my birthday is in December. So it was at the end of December that I turned 25, but I'm 25 throughout the following year because I'm a December baby. So it was throughout the year of 2021 that I really started to realize, to look back and realize my own actions. It's also the year that I found Jesus. And, it wasn't even intentional. Like, it wasn't intentional. Things just lined up, not ironically, perfectly. That's God. Um, and yeah, it was just really a year where I broke free of, I broke free. I broke free. And I've been free ever since. And removing, still tweaking, still growing, but really for the most part, I'm not at all the same person. Yeah. And so now I have children. I have two kids. And I just I feel such a duty now as a parent to instill emotional regulation in my children as soon as possible, to have it really be a conscious thing that they understand, that they understand their actions and people's reactions and all these things, because that's not something that I had. And so I had to figure it out by myself. I figured it out later than I would have liked to, me personally, because not every one of my siblings has this personal struggle that I have. This is my personal thing because of my emotional makeup, um, for whatever reason. And so, and my parents, they never outright and consciously taught us about these things. But because I went through that and I'm very aware of how my maladaptive reactions to things, my attachment issues and sensitivity, I'm aware of what that created in me, and I don't want to repeat that in my children. So I'm really making an effort to not coddle my kids whatsoever. Um, just teach them a balance. Let them understand that people are not responsible for making you feel better. Uh, people that you're responsible for making yourself feel better. Be good to people. People should be good to you as well. But if they're not, your response should not be chaotic. Your response should be acceptance. And something that helped as well greatly is having a fiance who is extremely emotionally stable. Like, he has been one of my inspirations, truly one of my biggest inspirations all the time. I'm always, so many times throughout the 4 years we've been together, I look back, I think to myself, like, okay, how would he react? He would just accept it, and he's fine. So if he can accept it and be fine, you can accept it and be fine. It doesn't have to be a big deal, you know? Um, yeah, anyway. So this video, this discussion kind of veered off, but not really completely. The point that I was making was trying to, the second half of this video, or more than the second half, I was just explaining how I've witnessed this cluster B thing we're witnessing rise inside of me, and, excuse me, understanding where it came from for me, at least the elements that encouraged me to completely lose myself in that behavior. And yes, the social elements that encourage that were feminism, absolutely feminism, and the devil. But that's not going to be visible to the naked spiritual eye. So yeah, whatever value you can pull from this, may you pull it. I hope so. And if if there's any young ladies or older ladies who are noticing, who have some critical thinking left in there, and the capacity and the will to break out of that madness, I really hope that this was somehow inspirational for you and helpful for you. Have a lovely day.